Dean Malone first. I stayed in jail with a guy who looked like Post Malone once. And seasons do be changing.
Call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number.
Yeah, because it's not 211. It's 214. Edit number. Nice. 214. 709989. And I recently watched Supernatural, so but then Scott Pilgrim takes over. That could also work out.
Law officer, is it Dean Malone?
Hello, it was suggested I try to contact Dean Malone for police and justice abuse.
Okay, let me go ahead and get some of your contact information. What is your name?
My current legal name is Joshua King, King.
Alright, Mr. King, and what's a good phone number for you?
505-423-4018.
And what's a good email address?
FYOURP, P as in Paul, at hotmail.com.
Okay. And what agency was this regarding?
Agency, the Lubbock County, well, actually the Slayton Municipal Court, the Slayton Police Department, and the Lubbock County Correctional Facility, or the jail. They've got some. I asked for a lawyer, and they treated me as uncooperative for that.
Alright, let me go ahead and pull up the questions that we ask for those types of cases.
Okay. They're also refusing me a lawyer, and I've been banned from the. Okay, sorry, you're finished. Stop oversharing.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Let me just pull up those questions so that I don't miss anything in my notes.
It's not okay. It will be okay if I learn to do better.
You said your name is Joshua?
My legal name, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I had saved that contact information. Okay, and how was it that you heard about our office?
Let's see who told me. The Hutchison and Foreman. I was trying to talk to them, and they suggested Joe's number.
Okay. Make a note of that. And when was it that you were initially arrested?
March 27th, 2025.
Okay. And what were you arrested for?
Oh, let me see if I have the paper.
Okay.
Specifically. Not original. Okay, that's not the correct one. Okay, this might be it. Disorderly conduct.
And then can you kind of walk me through what it is that happened to you?
Sure. Let me make sure this says the time. I believe the time was after 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's at 10:25, 10:24. That comes up specifically because the officers tried to say, well, we don't enforce the these sound laws before 10 o'clock. Okay, but it's 10 o'clock. So that doesn't, so that's them trying to not do their job. And basically, I was initially early that day, I'd called the police about this loud noise. Like there's some neighbors with a very, very good vehicle. But they'll crank the bass or they'll rev the engine occasionally, and they won't acknowledge that those sounds are very disturbing. Like normal use, sure they keep everything down, but occasionally they'll gun the engine or they'll crank that stereo for a few minutes, and that's the problem because all like there's still an issue even during the day. Like if it's too far, you still can't have it that loud, even though they say we don't enforce things at a certain time. Yeah, you do. All day is 75 decibels. Sorry, but so then initially the Slayton police officer said we don't enforce county law. Okay, well that's dumb because you're in the county, so you need to. But then I start walking to my cousin's house. It's uh, in simply because it's a good time to walk. I was taking him some fruit juice. Anyways, they as I'm walking, that vehicle revs their engine right about the time I hit Lubbock or Fourth Street, one of the two. I was on Fifth. I was on Fifth Street and Lubbock. They rev their engine, so then I change my direction to where I'm going down Lubbock, and I'll take a right at Fourth Street because my cousin's at Third, and then I'm at like Fifth Street, so it's kind of walking diagonally. Uh, and they rev their engine, and I walk by and say, I tried to buy a truck that loud, but my penis was too big. And then they cranked their stereo. So I was like, okay, well now I need to get the police here to mediate because that's not called for. Like it went loud, like it hurt my chest. And I'm staying in the street the whole time. Like I actually, even when they pull up, the police officers, you see me standing in the street. They immediately start talking like, "What's going on?" They're so sorry. I skipped some steps. So I'm standing there trying to call the police, and they make this human like shield thing, like Red Rover. They got like 8 people lined up on the corner, and they're yelling at me. They're all yelling at me. I don't know why. Like I say, I'm calling the police. Give me a moment. And then so one of them I think goes to call the police, and they end up getting talked to one first somehow, or the person I'm talking to the person, but they're yelling at me like I can't hear the person. I'm trying to ask where the address is, and they won't tell me. Like they're because there's no street sign, and there's one across the street, but I don't know what. Like I'm scared to turn my back on them because they're angry for some reason. I don't know why. It was a dumb joke for sure, but it wasn't that bad of a joke. It's kind of funny. Uh, but then the police come around the corner and they separate us, and they're talking, and I get to watch the body cam footage. One of the person says he didn't do anything. He stood there and called the police. But then the other people are saying, well, he can't come onto my property, blah, 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 he blah, blah, blah. And they look like they're in chemical uninhibited. But there's also, they say, well, we talked to this person and that person, and it's okay, we got their permission. Yeah, but did you talk to everybody else and get their permission? Like the officers are trying to cause a problem rather than cause peace. And I'm there to try to resolve an issue. The sound has been resolved, thankfully. There are continue to be some vehicles that drive by with their sound going that I can't call the police on because they're driving by. But the stationary sound is finally died down, thankfully. But the police officers, like the judge especially, is trying to say, "Oh no, this is all you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Holy shit, you can't talk like this. Holy fuck you!" And all. They're not saying the fuck you, but their minion pressed this panic button, and 2 guys come and block off my exit at one point because I'm still trying to ask for a lawyer and trying to get them to understand. I don't talk to people normally. I have spent the last 25 years online, like typing to people because my first 25 years was people trying to get close to me so they get me in trouble. I don't need witnesses to get me in trouble. I need people to help keep me out of trouble. That's never like I've never been willing. Like that's why I need neurology involved with psychiatry. Getting distracted. Okay, so they say we can either take you to your cousins and give you a trespassing charge, or you're going to jail. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do either of those. I didn't trespass. I was on the road the whole time, and I don't want to go to my cousin's house now. Uh, I didn't say that part, the cousin's part though. I said I didn't trespass, and he took that as uncooperative. And I'm like, all I had to do, you could have said, well, you can leave. Like, why you leave? And then that'd be fine. But they were trying to say I like trespassed me. I didn't. And the guy even said he didn't do anything. That's also like in the recording. That's what upsets me. So then they end up taking me into custody and talking trash to me for a bit. Like he does the Miranda rights. He says you have the right to remain silent, not that you will. Like you're not supposed to say that. That's TV talk, buddy. You got to tell me the Miranda rights. But then it says you have the right to return attorney. Anything you cannot say will be used against you. If you can't afford one, you'll be getting one. That was completely bullshit because I immediately asked for an attorney and they started treating me as uncooperative. And then at one point I needed to pee. And he leaves me handcuffs. I'm like, okay. And then could you turn on the water? He turns the water full blast. No, you need a trickle. And so I'm not being uncooperative. He's antagonizing me by not listening, by simply like he's trying to do everything he can to avoid doing anything that I suggest. And I think that's simply because they're trying to avoid giving like that. They might think people get power. I don't understand it. I could have done better, but I didn't do anything to do crime. So it eventually so he gets me to the county house. So we're talking on the bathroom. I say, come on, give me 5 more minutes. Turn down the water. Just stop talking to me. Like stop antagonizing me, and I'll get the pee out. But I couldn't. So, but then thankfully I didn't have to pee anymore because like the that's okay. But then I did end up getting to pee in the drunk tank. They put me in a drunk tank with my handcuffs on, and you're not supposed to do that. Like he's in custody in a room with it's you're not supposed to leave him in the handcuffs. And then they ended up putting me into a room naked for an hour, and you're not supposed to do that. If you're on suicide watch, you put them in a you give them one of those Velcro suits, so like because you keep that temperature low because and then they put me into a room where there's an unflushed toilet, and so that's that for another hour or two, and I've got a pretty sensitive nose. That was horrible, and then at one point I get out and I'm sitting in the main lobby, and one of the guys like yells at somebody to shut up and swears, and one of the officers says, if y'all don't tell us who did that, we're gonna punish you all. No, you're not. That's not. But we can't say anything because we got a right to remain silent. So then I end up getting out 6 days later of jail, and I go to the court on a Tuesday, the next Tuesday, and she says, well, why don't you plead guilty? You already did the time. You've already been punished, so go ahead and plead guilty. No, I didn't do the crime. That's the whole. And now they're upset, and they won't give me a lawyer. And then they've been trying. Like I go back because I get a ticket for disregarding a stop sign on my unmotorized bicycle. I slowed down. I used the turn signals. I did not stop because nobody was coming. I didn't force anybody to yield, and somebody was behind me. I'm not gonna stop. It's unmotorized. It is conservation of mass, but they put their thing. The officer can't spell bicycle, so he writes three-wheeled bike. He marks out BY and writes three-wheeled bike. I take that to the judge to say, hey, can you please, like, we need to figure something out. But then the judge is like, we don't do this here. But then her minion interrupts, and then I interrupt the minion, and then the judge, like, the minion presses the panic button, and then they call the people. They get me banned from the courthouse. But they got a plexiglass. There's no danger whatsoever. There was no. All it was is they didn't want to talk to people, and they didn't want to let people have their freedom of speech and be. I don't know. They don't want to treat people as they want to be treated. So now I'm still going back to the court. This recent one, I've also got it. I got all this uploaded on YouTube, but she threatened me like we don't want things going like last time. I said, of course I don't. So then she said something else. I was like, don't threaten me, and then they made me leave. But that's part of it. They're still not like they gave me. She said, we'll put it as plead not guilty, and you can tell the judge that you don't care about Texas law. And I said, no, it's not that I don't care about Texas law. It's that I can't afford it. My current ticket or my most recent ticket is not having the correct identification, and that's because I can't afford to get a new identification every time I move. I'm indigent. I'm on disability, and this is all. They got these brand new shiny vehicles, and the roads are crap. All the people's houses are crap because they don't understand that their justice, they're running justice as a business instead of a peacekeeping thing. I don't know what all y'all can help with, or if anything I can help with. But first off, I need a lawyer. I need I need them to be able to get me a lawyer for the thing on the 27th of May. I've got pretrial for the initial disorderly conduct. But then I also need them to stop harassing me for not being them. I don't make enough money to act snooty like they do.
Unfortunately, that won't be something that our office can help with. We're a personal injury firm, so we do like work injuries.
Okay, I was told y'all were police abuse. It's emotional injury from the because I can't. Okay. Good days. Thank you. Fuck. Whoops. All that shit to go through. Okay, and it was the wrong number. 214-225-3707. Scott Palmer.
This call will be recorded for quality assurance.
Good.
Palmer Pearlstein, how may I help you?
Hi. Sorry, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry about the timing. I am trying to find a lawyer that helps with police abuse, and like county correctional abuse, or civil rights lawyer as well. I was given.
Yes, sir. We handle those types of cases. Can I have your first and last name, please?
My first and last name is my legal name is Joshua King, King.
Okay. And then how did you find out about our office?
I was given your number by Hutchison and Foreman.
Okay. Okay, and then what's a good callback number for you just in case we get disconnected?
505-423-4018.
Okay, thank you so much. Give me 1 second, okay?
Sure.
Thank you for holding. The paralegal is not available at the moment. I'm going to send you to her voicemail. If you'll leave a detailed message, they'll return your call.
Okay, thank you. Good days.
You're welcome. You too.
Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for Jacqueline Lannis. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hello, my legal name is currently Joshua King, King. Phone number is 505-423-4018. March 27th, 2025, I was taken into custody because I was trying to get the police to mediate some discussion between me and some neighbors. They decided that I was committing a crime, disorderly conduct, because I refused to accept a trespassing charge. I was standing in the road, like I wasn't trespassing. There was no, and then the officer gave me my rights. He says, you have the right to remain silent, not that you will. That's okay. But then he also said that I have the right to a lawyer, and anything I can say can and will be used against me. If I can't afford a lawyer, one will be given me. So I immediately asked for a lawyer, and then they started putting me down as non-cooperative. And they went when I got I've got the body cam footage of where he's not letting me take my time to pee. He's not doing like he could. I asked him to lower the thing of the water, and he's. I don't understand why they're taking that is combative. I don't understand. Anyways, I didn't pee on myself, thankfully. I did get put into the county custody in handcuffs in the drunk tank, even though I needed to pee. I didn't get to pee though. I got my pants off. Then they put me in the suicide tank, naked, even though I'm supposed to have the Velcro suit. But then I told them they had me in there for an hour, and the guy said, "Well, it was a different shift. That's not up to me." They did give me the suit, but then they put me in a room with an unflushable toilet that had what seemed like a turd in it. And even if it wasn't a turd, it still looked and smelled enough like one that it's emotional torture. Like that's fucking psychological torture. Like there's no need for it. And I couldn't flush the toilet. Like you're not proving that he's dirty by giving him unfunctioning toilets. It's not, you're not, I don't understand what's going, like there's, then at one point I got out of that room and I'm sitting in the chair and this person screams out some cuss word and this one officer says, "If y'all don't tell us who did that, we're gonna punish you all." No, that's also not correct. But then I get out 6 days after 6 days, and I'm going to the judge on the next Tuesday, and the judge and the minions say, "Why not plead guilty? You've already done the time." Well, don't coerce me. I need a lawyer. I'm not guilty. You know, and then of course I get the body cam footage 2.5 minutes in when she's talking to the neighbors. The person says he didn't do anything but call the cops. But then they keep dragging it on and asking about. They don't ask follow-up questions. Like the person says he can't come around here saying stuff like that. Most officers would say, well, actually he can, depending on the circumstances. But in this case, they're not. Their goal is to get me. It seems like their goal is to get somebody in trouble rather than just to commit peace. They need to be peace officers, but they've got very nice vehicles and their town's going to shit. Like the roads are fucking garbage. The houses are fucking deteriorating. People are working and doing the best they can, but the justice system is draining all the resources, and their church too. It keeps sending all their money out of state, out of country. That's all. Sorry, I got distracted. So I'm still asking for a lawyer, and I still need a lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer, but they won't give me one because it's misdemeanor. That's not what the Miranda rights say. There is no caveats to say unless you're getting a misdemeanor. It says anything you say can and will be used against you, and you have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, will be given to you. There is nothing else that it doesn't. So either they got to change their Miranda rights, or they got to give me a lawyer. It's one of the two. But also they need to review their police footage and realize he really didn't do anything that wrong, like not crime worthy. That's the part of the, and I need help. Yeah, I can't talk to these people correctly. They won't give me a lawyer so I can talk to them correctly, but then they punish me for not talking to them correctly. That is absolutely incorrect. That's why we have that. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated. They recently kicked me out of they banned me from the municipal courthouse, but then they overreacted so much they also banned me from the specific office in the courthouse. Like what the fuck? Like that's are you trying to like that's the thankfully I didn't have to sign the one for the room specific, even though the officer laughed about that. All this is because they tried to coerce me into getting me they won't give me a lawyer. They won't they want me to plead guilty because I already served the time. But I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So that's all showing how this is horseshit. Their stuff is they're understaffed, so we have to be punished, even though we're not convicted of a crime. This is some of the things that happens a lot of places. It's why domestic violence is so bad in Colorado because they put one person in jail instead of taking up both when there's any sort of speculation. That's because like I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. But the lady, like I wouldn't have called her a bitch if she wouldn't have run after me. One of the guys actually had to hold her back because she ran out in the street to attack me. I don't need that in my life, but they need to say that stuff, but they can't say that stuff because they're scared they'll get in trouble. I don't need them in trouble. All I need is for them to understand that their sound goes much further than the two neighbors that they've talked to. That's all I needed. And then it seems that they finally did, though, acknowledge that because I haven't heard from that's I don't hear that sound much. I'll hear it like once or twice every few days, and I call the police if it's more than a few seconds. But that was the last time I had to do that was last week. So I think they finally actually got around to talking to him because they left it running for a few minutes one day, and I think the police actually had to talk to him or got because the police will not talk to somebody unless they won't ask them for a demo. Sorry, which they don't really have to. But then in the case where the person's you're going to take this person to jail because he's saying they were loud, and then they're saying that he was assaulting them. Okay, but then one of the person said no, he didn't do anything. I don't understand. I haven't gone through all of the body cam footage because I skipped to that 2.5 minutes like really quick, and I was like, it says right there he didn't do anything. Well, shit, my case is fucking done. All the then the but I still need to get all the recordings because they don't have the recording of the officer vaping in the car, even though I told him I have asthma, and that he could at least crack the window. They won't give me that body footage cam. It's Officer Barker. Got a red beard, but he claims not to be a redhead. He really gets sad about that for some reason. I think I don't know, but that's part of the being dishonest in law enforcement. If y'all can't be honest, then you need a better job. You need to do your job differently. I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but I've included the part where they have me naked for an hour. They have me near the used toilet that doesn't flush for like 4 hours. Then they tried to punish me for the actions of someone else, and all this time, because the footage says he didn't do anything. Like that's the officer said he wouldn't. I had no issue of leaving, but I did not want the officer to take me to my cousin's house and give me a trespassing ticket. That's the thing I had issue with because I didn't want to go bother my cousin about this, and I didn't want to get the trespassing ticket for standing in the street. That's dumb. Or he could have explained why it was like there was no explanation that they're saying like since you won't accept this is your what's happening. And yeah, I think things could have simply been done better if they would have talked to each other a bit more rather than trying to hurry to punish something. I don't know, you probably can't, but I do need a lawyer as far as the case goes because I am not able to talk to people correctly. I spend my time typing to people for the past 25 years. I do talk. I mean, I can speak, but it's more of I'm speaking. I'm not talking or communicating. I'm simply going through some of the stuff that I have listed of possible things that might help you do better. As a person like the life hacks. My shit stored as life hacks. So if I'm talking, all it is to try to help. Uh, I'm very uncouth and abrasive, though. I'm not, that's not illegal. That's not a crime. Anyways, I'm sorry. Good luck. Good days. Bye. Huh.
Reassuring.
How may I help you?
Hi, I called a moment ago and I was forwarded to a paralegal's answer machine.
Yes.
I have the YouTube videos for the body cam footage. Would that help at all, or is there like a would they is that something they'll talk to me about first? Like they'll.
Yes. Whenever she returns your call, you can ask her about
Okay.
that video.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Good days. Thank you.
You too.
That is a horrible picture. Indiscernible. Okay, cool. Did some messaging. See how that goes. Good luck.